Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and begin a really fascinating journey together into the ancient symbols of the stonemasons. From the outside looking in, Freemasonry can seem totally wrapped in mystery and secrets. But at its core, it's fundamentally just a profound system of moral education. So today, we're going to walk through the foundational stages of this system, which are known as the 3 degrees.
Welcome to our mentor-guided walkthrough. I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you are beginning a journey where we hand you the literal tools to build a better modern life. See, Freemasonry teaches through symbols rather than rigid rules, using dramatic allegories and the traditional tools of ancient stonemasons to convey these huge moral lessons. Think about it. If you were constructing a building, you'd obviously need the right equipment, right? Well, the exact same principle applies to constructing your own character.
So we're going to demystify these 3 degrees as a roadmap moving us from ignorance to self-mastery. Together, these degrees form what's known as the Blue Lodge or craft masonry. Now, you might be wondering, and an outside observer might definitely think that these are ranks of authority, kind of like military promotions, but they're actually not. They're a symbolic representation of a person's intellectual, moral, and spiritual growth. Every candidate walks a path that essentially mirrors the development of every human being.
Let's start with stage 1, the entered apprentice degree. This perfectly mirrors the youth stage of our lives, focusing heavily on new beginnings and humility. And this brilliantly illustrates our starting point, the ashlar. A rough ashlar is basically an unshaped stone taken straight from the quarry. It completely represents us in our raw, imperfect state. The perfect ashlar, on the other hand, is the ultimate goal, moral refinement and self-mastery. Now, every single person has potential, but moving from that rough ashlar to the perfect ashlar requires actual, intentional work. Just as a physical stonemason shapes a rock into a useful building block, you're challenged to shape your own character. So as I hand you your very first tool, I really want you to think about modern burnout. We've all felt it. The 24-inch gauge is a perfect framework for balancing your daily schedule. In our modern context, we're constantly pulled in a million different directions, which leads to massive stress. The 24-inch gauge reminds us that time is literally our most precious resource. It teaches the vital importance of dividing our time properly among work, rest, family, service, and spiritual reflection. It's really a timeless remedy for modern overwhelm.
Okay, moving to our next tool, the common gavel. Just as a gavel physically chips away rough edges on stone, we must actively use self-discipline to chip away at our own destructive behaviors. You absolutely can't reach that perfect ashlar without breaking off the pieces that just don't belong. This represents the daily, and let's be honest, sometimes really difficult work of recognizing our personal flaws, our harmful habits, and actively choosing to remove them from our lives.
Now we move on to stage 2, the Fellowcraft degree. This represents adulthood, where our minds truly expand, and we actively engage with the broader world. As an adult, you've learned the fundamentals, and now you're a skilled worker. In this stage, we emphasize lifelong education through the liberal arts and sciences. We're talking grammar, rhetoric, logic, arithmetic, music, and astronomy. The geometry actually holds an incredibly special place in this tradition. It serves as a reminder that there is a rational structure to the universe, and we're highly encouraged to align our own minds with that universal order. Let's see how this all builds together by looking at the winding staircase. It's one of the most memorable metaphors of the Fellowcraft degree. Think about climbing a set of stairs that winds completely out of sight. You can't see the top from the bottom, right? You just have to trust the process. Climbing that winding staircase shows us that wisdom takes steady, step-by-step effort. It's definitely not an overnight revelation. Now, what's really interesting here is how the tools advance as your skills advance. Take the square. Builders use it to ensure corners are perfectly aligned. In our everyday lives, it's a mental anchor reminding us to literally square our actions with morality. It applies directly to making fair, honest decisions. Are you being fair in your business? Honest in your relationships? The square demands absolute fairness. Next up in our toolkit is the level, and this is absolutely crucial. A builder uses a level to ensure a surface is perfectly flat. For us, the level is a profound symbol of equality. It reminds us that no matter your wealth, your status, or your occupation, we all share a common humanity. At the end of the day, we're all walking the exact same earth, facing the same human struggles, and we've got to treat every single person with equal dignity. The plum finishes out this specific tool set, serving as a constant reminder to stand upright and honorable in everything we do.
a plumb line relies on gravity to find absolute vertical perfection. So when you apply the plumb to your own character, it means having unshakable integrity. It means standing tall and true to your principles, even when the winds of adversity or temptation try their hardest to blow you off course. Finally, we arrive at stage 3, the Master Mason degree. This is the philosophical climax, representing maturity, taking on responsibility, and exploring the deeper mysteries of existence. Here, the allegory challenges us to reflect deeply on perseverance under adversity, sacrifice, and the universal experiences of loss and renewal. The Master Mason is asked to confront human mortality head-on. What kind of legacy are you leaving behind? Are you committed to truth and fidelity, even in the face of immense hardship? This degree explores our deepest universal experiences, ultimately teaching courage and service to others. So the absolutely crucial point here is the trowel. It represents brotherhood and harmony. Think about what a trowel actually does. It takes individual separate stones and spreads the cement that binds them together into a single strong structure. That's exactly what we are called to do in society. We have to spread the cement of goodwill, respect, and cooperation to build real community unity. Let's take a quick step back now and see how these symbols serve as permanent mental anchors across a lifetime. This beautifully synthesizes our entire journey. The real genius of this system is that these tools, the gauge, the gavel, the square, become permanent fixtures in your mind. From building character in our youth, to expanding our knowledge in adulthood, and finally reflecting on our legacy and maturity, it's really less about advancement in rank and entirely about advancement in personal understanding throughout our lives. Remember that a simple lesson you learned today might reveal some incredibly profound truths decades later. The work of the perfect ashlar is totally continuous. We're all just works in progress, right? So take a look at your own life. Grab your symbolic gavel. What is one habit, one flaw, or one rough edge you can start chipping away at right now? Keep asking yourself that question. Keep climbing that winding staircase. And hey, thank you so much for taking this journey with me on today's Explainer.